What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Wilson, here on Wilson Block 100 Radio, and we have Larry McZeal.
What's good? What's good?
Here on the block with us today. How you doing, man?
What's up, partner? How you doing?
Good, man. Glad to have you here with us for this exclusive interview.
Word.
How you been, man?
I've been doing really good, man. A lot of people know I'm a new dad. My little boy's
congrats.
He's 1 year old right now.
Yeah. I think I remember talking to you like right before he was born, or right after he was born.
Yeah. We ran into each other on the street. I was telling you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of people like tell you these things about being a parent that you just like you don't really believe until it happens.
Right.
And then when it happens, it's just like, snap, man, these fools were not kidding.
Right. They were not kidding.
I already knew like having a toddler would be like, saving his life every 5 minutes. Like I was already hip to that.
Right.
But it didn't really prepare me for the stuff that, they don't tell you.
Yeah, exactly. The unspoken.
The unspoken stuff, like the non-stop drooling.
Right.
Just like non-stop drooling, like, dang, man, I just changed you, dog.
Right.
Why are you dirty again?
It hasn't even been 5 minutes.
We didn't even go outside.
Right. Right. Welcome to Parenthood.
It's cool. It's cool though. Like, it's definitely rewarding. It's definitely taught me a lot, and it's continuing to teach me things. And,
absolutely.
I'm really just approaching it from the standpoint of it's always an evolving thing.
Yeah.
And to just kind of let it come to me as it happens.
Right.
There's no instructions on how to do it, but
right. So you kind of
do the best we can,
Yeah. So with that, you kind of had to grow up instantly. Well, not that you weren't already mature.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I was the head of my household by the time I was 13. So
interesting.
Like I was forced to grow up real quick after my pops had passed. So I'm already knowing, but like being a father is a totally different experience.
Right.
Totally different experience.
Yeah. And then do you ever start thinking about like, man, I was a bad kid. I'm in for it.
No, man. I was a good kid. No doubt. A lot of people have this misconception because, I'm such a wildcat and, I do all this crazy stuff that I was like a cut up. No, man. Right. I lived in great fear of the belt.
Oh, wow. No doubt.
I lived in great fear of the belt and had respect for it.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got whooped but twice my whole life. That's all it took. I was like, man. I am never cutting up again. If I do something, I'm gonna cover my tracks because I'm not getting caught.
Wow. That's incredible. I
would always weigh the stakes. Like, is it worth a whooping?
Right.
No.
Exactly. And those 2 times was enough.
You know what I'm saying? Is it worth it? If the answer was no, I didn't do it.
Right. Wow. And that's why the traditional way of raising kids, man, it had a great effect.
Yeah, it did have a great effect.
Nowadays, we can't really tell each other anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the world has changed so much, and with that change, people's perceptions on how to relate to one another have also changed.
Right.
And a lot of things have become muted, and a lot of things have become over-enhanced.
Yeah.
So I think we're all just kind of playing catch-up with technology.
Right, for real.
Trying to remember how to be sociable human beings and be responsible human beings in a world where everything you say is instantly quantified and seen by thousands of people and judged immediately.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the world we live in today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, real quick, man, can you give us just a quick background on yourself?
Yeah. I've been living in the Altadena, Pasadena area since I was 7. I started playing music when I was 13 and a half. My mom's got me this guitar because... funny story, a buddy of mine, and a shout out to my homeboy Keenan Moore. A buddy of mine got a guitar I think it was for his birthday. It was either his birthday or Christmas. And, no, actually it was for his birthday because his birthday is like right around Christmas.
Right.
And he started learning to play, and I was like really interested in like I always thought he was the coolest dude I'd ever met. So I was like, I wanted to be like him.
Right.
So... he started getting down on guitar, got myself an acoustic and started learning to play. Yeah. And then
so you would say that was your first influence?
Well, musically. My first influence musically, like my boy, he really introduced me to like good rock and roll music.
Right. Absolutely.
Like I hadn't really heard any decent rock and roll music until I started kicking it with him, and it just changed my whole perspective about what music could be.
Right.
You know, like I was locked in a R&B hip hop kick like everybody else.
Right.
You know, and he really just kind of opened my eyes.
Absolutely.
So
and then
from there, I sang in the choir. I did musical theater, a whole bunch of plays. Went to after high school. I went. Oh, shout out to John Muir High. I went to John Muir High.
Whoa, Mustangs.
I'm an alumni.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I was after high school. I went to PCC. Did a little bit of acting there. Mm-hmm. Mostly during the summers. They have this thing called the summer sitcom program I did, which was really cool. And then but my thing was mostly music. Like, I had a whole lot of fun acting. I had a whole lot of fun being in the choir, but I was always kind of desperate to be able to just do something that I had put together.
Right, absolutely.
You know? Yeah. Like, I was humbled to be able to learn the crafts of others.
Right.
But I was desperate to be able to start to hone my own.
Exactly. And speaking of that, the late nights. You know what I'm saying? You formed the late nights. Larry McZeal and the late nights, man. What's the word on the late nights,
all right,
man?
Well, here's the deal. The late nights, as of now, are disbanded.
Ugh.
I know. I'm sad about it, too.
Wow.
I'm sad about it, too. It's been about 2.5 years.
Now, real quick, can you give us who the members were exactly?
All right. The original members of the late nights were Jonathan Smith, Jonathan Tweedy, Daniel Higgins from Monrovia, Evan Hauser, who is our trumpet player.
Oh,
wow. This cat named Sin. Well, I call him Sin. His real name was Yehut Winsin.
Huh.
It's like I think it was I can't remember. He was from Central Asia. Myanmar. That's where he was.
No doubt. No doubt.
He was a keyboard player.
Okay.
That boy was bad.
No doubt.
His English was terrible, but
right.
That boy could play them keys like it was nobody's business.
Right.
And that was our original group. And then after a while, it cut down to just we lost our keyboard player and we kept our trumpet player. And then we did a few gigs without our trumpet player. And then just stuff started happening, life started happening.
Right.
People started forming different relationships.
Right.
We just couldn't find the time for music. I mean, at the time, it really fell apart. I was, just busy, being at home with my chick and like doing the 9-to-5 thing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I just really didn't. I really didn't kind of branch myself back out into doing anything because I carried so much of the
band,
not carried. I don't want to say I carried the band, but
I mean keeping it all together,
and organizing events and like I was just so busy that I just I think at that point in my life I just needed a break. Yeah, like I had been doing fusion for a long time and we had run 13 shows,
and then Parenthood,
and then Parenthood was on the way. And I was just like, I don't know.
No, right? Exactly.
I might need to take a step back for a second and just reassess this whole situation.
Exactly.
So that's what I did. The rest of the guys started doing their own things. Jonathan Smith has got this really cool thing going called 24th Element, where he's spinning and mixing, and he's been actually writing music for TV shows and commercials for a long time, so he's deep into that. Right. My boy Higgins has his own audio equipment company where they rent out large equipment for big venues and stuff like that. He goes around the country he's always been doing that.
So arenas, stadiums?
Yeah. Even when he was with the late nights, he was doing that. A lot of the times when we had a big sound somewhere private, he would be the one to bring all the equipment and shit because he was just set up like that.
Wow, no doubt.
And Tweedy's got a new thing going. I haven't had a chance to listen to their stuff, and I'm sorry about it, man. Right. Tweedy's, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. I'm checking your stuff out as soon as I can. My bad, my bad, homie. But they all had something going on after that, and me was just on the grind, just working home and just starting to piece together what would be the next sound to come from me.
Right, exactly. So So speaking of that, what you got? What you working on right now? You got anything current or upcoming?
Right now, working on a couple of events. We're bringing back fusion.
Thank you.
for a couple of shows, one in Pasadena and one near downtown LA.
Now, what kind of fusion we talking? Soul rock? We talking?
Fusion right now is all, not only is it a musical theme to have like different genres of music being able to play in the same house and area, and have the vibe be good, but right now we're really jumping on like the themed events. Yeah. So the next great themed event for fusion will be the Freak Show. And the Freak Show is essentially a show that will take our audience out of their comfort zone.
Hey, life begins at the end of your comfort zone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll really take people out of their comfort zone, not in a bad way.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying like you're gonna show up to the show and like not want to be there, but
but you're gonna get something that you're not familiar with.
Exactly, and you're gonna get some things that you're not familiar with, and you're gonna be exposed to some things that you might not have known actively happen in Los Angeles.
Right. No doubt.
And I've got some really cool acts lined up for that. I'm still in talks with this one performer who does a very, very extreme act that I'm still not at liberty to talk about.
Okay.
But it is, this girl does something on stage while singing that you will not believe.
What's she doing a handstand?
I can't tell you. But I'm telling you, I'll tell you this.
You can tell me off the record.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. But yeah, off the record. Yeah, but on the record, it's just
right.
What she does is absolutely amazing. Wow. And when people see it, they're going to be blown away.
Wow. So that's at the Freak Show?
That'll be at the Freak Show.
And where is that taking place again?
That'll be taking place. We're hoping we can get this done by January 3rd. It's the first Saturday of the new year.
Okay.
If not, we might end up pushing the date back, and if we do, we'll let people know.
Yeah.
We're still working on just filling the available space. I mean, this place is huge. I really can't touch on too much about it. It's a really, really big venue,
and it's located in.
It's located south of USC. I'm keeping most of the details under wraps until we've got most of it lined up.
Right.
But it'll be south of USC near Manchester and Broadway. Okay. And when it goes down, man, it's going to go down in a big way. We're doing a viral campaign. We're looking into redoing our flyer campaign, and you know that word of mouth is just going to be it. And
now, real quick, did have you done any solo performances since the disbanding of since the late nights disbanded?
Well, in terms of performances, like I haven't done anything that I was paid to do.
Okay.
And I didn't book anything that I told other people about. I have performed since then.
Right.
But it's mostly just like open mic stuff.
Right.
Just to kind of test some songs.
Right.
Just some things that I've been practicing privately that I wanted to see if I could do in front of people.
Right. No doubt.
Pretty much. I mean, here at the Coffee Gallery, like, this is my test audience.
Right, no doubt.
Anytime I've got a new acoustic song or something that I'm working on, I normally start it up here after it's written and then, like, test it out on the open mic audience. And if they dig it, I roll with it.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'll tell you this, they haven't all been winners.
No doubt. That's very humble of you.
Yeah. Like, I can really tell by the response of people whether or not they dug something or whether or not they're just trying to be nice to me.
Right, exactly.
Most of the time people dig what I do, and I'm really grateful for that because I'm thankful that I'm not one of those artists that really believes in what they do, but they stink.
Right, exactly. They need like years of development.
I always feel for them because they got the right idea, but they got to develop still. Maybe they haven't either developed the talent or they haven't developed the craft or they're just not in the right mindset. Right. I always feel for them when I see them up doing something. I'm just like, oh God, that was terrible.
Right.
But their heart was in the right place.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It was meaningful.
Yeah.
But
I get it, but
you just didn't have it.
Just didn't have that thing. You know?
That thing, exactly.
It made me want to keep listening.
Right. And that's critical, man. You know what I mean? From a fan's perspective who comes to see, it's like, and I kind of know the difference too if someone's just kind of trying to be nice or if I really did blow them away, and as a performing artist, those are things that you should pay attention to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that way you're not disappointed because people did just say that.
Right, and you don't want to get the wrong type of, like, if you really want the feedback, you don't want to be getting the wrong kind.
Right.
Like, honest,
like, be real.
Honest feedback is honest feedback
Exactly.
any day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And the most effective.
Exactly.
You know. And as an artist, you know, you gotta know how to take it. You know what I mean? And,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. That's what it is, man. So you've been in Dena for a while, man. What are your views on the state of the local music scene in both Altadena and Pasadena?
Well, all right. I have to take issue with Altadena.
Uh-oh.
This place has sheltered me since I was 7 years old, and I've seen some
wow.
really cool things up here.
Wow.
I've been to some great shows. I've been to some great parties. You know, I love Altadena, and I will rep this small little town to the day I die. No matter
No doubt.
no matter where I go, I won't feel comfortable until I can get back here.
Right, thank you. All right, Dena, you heard that. You know what I'm saying? We got Larry McZeal right here, man.
Yeah.
Real Dena artist right here, man.
So, but my issue with the scene up here is that, here's the thing. I read a demographic poll about Altadena a few years ago.
Okay.
It said that 95% of the people who live up here are over the age of 35.
Wow.
90%. That means that the majority of the homeowners who live here have lived here in our generationals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you go down...
That's why the culture's so strong.
Yeah. If you go down these blocks and look at those houses, man, them people have been living there forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only time you see a for sale sign go up means somebody died.
Right. For real. Exactly.
They either died or they moved.
Right.
Or they couldn't afford it because of the foreclosure madness still going on.
Right.
But my real thing is that because of that, there isn't really any
diversity coming through from other places.
I wouldn't say so much as diversity.
Right.
Altadena doesn't really have the venues
right
for putting on a nighttime entertainment.
Right.
Situation.
I agree. Like the coffee gallery is the hub.
Yeah, the coffee gallery is like the only spot out here that you can perform at that actually has a spot for you to perform.
Right. But also, you also got Perry's Joint over there on Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And technically, that's still Altadena. You got a few spots here, few far in between. But you won't have anything like the Terrace.
Yeah.
Or like a Jake's Billards.
Right. There's nothing like that up here. And it's not... That's the thing. Like Altadena just isn't that type of community.
Right.
Like it's a great place to be an artist because it's quiet enough for you to think.
Right. Exactly.
But it's not necessarily the best place for performances because your audiences are really limited.
Right.
And it's mostly catered to the people who live here who are
absolutely
of an older generation.
Right. Exactly. They're not really. They're kind of already set in their ways as far as who their artists are.
They're not really looking to go out on a Tuesday night till 2 in the morning to listen to some weird music.
Right.
You know? They're not doing that.
Right.
You know, they're either retired or they're coming off of work and they ain't hearing it.
Because see, it's not like other cities where, you get people coming in and going renting here and all the time. You know what I mean?
It's not downtown LA.
Right, exactly.
It's not Santa Monica. Right. It's not K-Town.
It's not even Pasadena.
It's not even Pasadena. Yeah. Like this community is like it's a residential.
Mostly
straight
residential.
Up it's a residential and it's hard to get something going up here, but it's a great place to be.
We should just name it North Pasadena, man.
No.
What do you think?
No.
I had that idea.
You know what I would love to see happen for Altadena? I would love to see Altadena become its own incorporated town.
Right.
We could move in the type of businesses that the community approves.
Yeah.
And we could build revenue and get people to move in here.
Yeah.
But,
there's not much rental space.
Yeah, not much rental space, but who knows what'll happen up there.
Right.
But in terms of being an artist, in terms of being a performer, it's a great place to be in terms of being able to, get your bat cave, like hone your craft, sense like you can be in your spot working on your stuff and nobody will bother you.
Right. Yeah. And see, the thing I like about Altadena as far as the artists that are here is that you have every type of artist here. You have the visual, and then you have the folk, the bluegrass, and everybody. It's really just like a region with an inventory of artists. So it pretty much the artists in Altadena are they have to go out. You know what I mean? And kind of figure.
It's like you develop here, here up on the mountain, and you bring it down the hill to the people and see what they think.
Exactly. That's crazy, man. But, you know, that's the music scene. You know, you got rappers out here, too. You know, even in Altadena, you know?
Yeah, some great MCs up here.
Absolutely. So, who all have you worked with, you know what I mean, thus far in your career?
Wow.
I know career, that word, huh?
I've worked with a lot of people. But I have to say, honestly, the core group of people that I've worked with have been like mostly musicians, a few MCs, and a couple producers.
Anybody locally?
Yeah.
Have you done anything with LaToya?
No. Shout out to LaToya Rose.
Yeah, shout out LaToya Rose.
Man, I'd love to work with her.
Man, me too.
And congrats on her new child, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
For sure. One of my close friends is a cat named I Will MC.
I Will. Shout out I Will.
Yeah, I Will.
AKA?
Man, that's such a good group.
Yeah, it is.
I've seen them evolve from the start. That is such a good group.
Right.
But I was doing stuff with him back like in 07. We did this like hip hop rock mixed band called The Pillage. And like we collabed on that for a while. We did
You and I Will.
Yeah, we did I think we did like a video of a couple of our performances. But I don't know, that project never really got moving, and then and then we both started doing different stuff. I've actually been talking to him lately about helping me with the upcoming project.
Really?
Yeah. But AKA still going strong, and I will starting to do this stuff where he's like mixing and like DJing and stuff like that. And
right.
His stuff is really tight.
Yeah, he was doing Culture Sundays. When 72 North was in effect, but they're gone.
Yeah, culture events, man. Shout out to culture events. They were dope, dude.
No doubt, man. And he was doing it faithfully.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, I Will's a cat, man. You know, I met I Will by Mr. McStrange. I don't know if you know Mr. McStrange.
No.
E.T.
Okay.
Yeah, you know
Eternal?
E.T. Eternal, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out Eternal, Mr. McStrange.
No
Woo,
doubt,
shout out
no
Glow.
doubt.
I met I Will through him, and then he also knew another producer named Lindrum, and then that's kind of how I knew I Will.
Right.
And then the thing I like about I Will, man, is he knows his stuff. You know what I'm saying? He knows the dope hip hop acts, the history, and when you see him perform,
Will's the one who got me started doing the promoting.
Really?
Yeah.
And then that's how I met you.
He was my inspiration for that.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Like me and him, he hooked me up with a couple of people, and then I started doing fusion, off of I gotta really give that guy credit, because a bunch of times I've taken his advice and it's really turned out really well.
Wow.
So
you hear that, I Will.
Yeah, for sure.
You were needed on the music scene.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You were valuable,
that's a wise man right there.
No doubt.
A wise man right there.
No doubt.
But yeah, so yeah, I did some stuff with Will. I had a small project going with my homeboy Jeremy. He's the drummer for this group called Sketch Orchestra. We did a couple of sessions together over at the Pasadena Rehearsal Studios.
Yeah,
that was right before we put the late nights together. We were actually considering him to be the drummer, but that guy's busy too. He does sessions with all types of musicians.
Yeah.
And Sketch Orchestra's been doing their thing for the last 3 or 4 years. They're dope.
No doubt.
And that's an all instrumental group.
Really?
They don't have a singer. It's all instruments.
Wow, that is so unique, man. We got to talk, man. We got to bring them to Dena, man.
They are something else.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking to you earlier about trip hop, that is probably a good example of kind of trip hop music.
Yeah, just for our listeners out there, because trip hop is fairly new. You know,
actually, trip hop really isn't that new. The term trip hop was phrased like in '92.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Trip hop was actually started in Europe. Kind of as a way for the white people to still have like the lounge scene, but with some hip hop music in the background.
Right.
But it's really not just really for any one group of people. It's really for everybody. And it's
so
perfect.
Explain what it is.
It's perfect because it gives trip hop is kind of this way of incorporating what would just be normally singer-songwriter stuff with the influence of the old school trance music and stuff like the 808 beats from hip hop and atmosphere stuff they were doing like back in the 70s, like with the acid trip stuff.
Right.
Yeah, man, like trip hop is a cool little niche. I'm actually trying to look into getting into myself.
Yeah.
Kind of taking myself back off of the mic and putting myself back behind the instruments.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, that's where the music is.
Yeah, man. I mean, just for a little while. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love to sing. But you know, I don't know. Because kind of as an artist, I want to be able to stretch myself in different areas that don't necessarily need me to be up in front. Right. But just to be there.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Absolutely. I understand completely. And that's real, man. You got a lot of people that want to be involved in the music, but they don't really want to be on the forefront.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They'll be the producer, or they'll be the screenwriter, or what have you.
Check this out. I took an aptitude test back in high school. And this was supposed to be one of those career aptitude tests, like what are you best suited for?
Yeah. And
I was certain they're gonna like put me up as like, oh, you're gonna be an artist. Right. You're gonna be this. Right. You know what they told me I was gonna be? What I'd be perfect for?
A construction worker.
No. Music promotion.
Really?
Music promotion and event coordinating and all that.
Wow.
They said that's what I was best suited for.
Based on the results
on the results of that test. I didn't really buy it because, like, no, man, screw that. I'm going to be a rock star, man. Right. I'm going to be the promoter. I'm going to be the headliner.
Right. Thank you. Right.
I was like, no, man, I'm going to be up there.
Right.
But as time has kind of come past, I have found a better niche for that.
A niche, right?
But still been able to find a good balance between the two, like being able to perform and being able to coordinate.
Yeah. Likewise. Actually, as much as I love music, I love to write and stuff like that. I love the promotion aspect of it as well. Right. And sometimes you might see more of that from me than my actual artistry.
Right. Like you a lot of times, you see people doing the footwork ahead of their art. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Would you agree that I do that?
I definitely agree. but Bing, don't get me wrong, man. Like, you have been like all over town for years,
right?
I still catch your flyers every time I'm coming off of the train or something like that, or like I'm over there off of Washington going to the smoke shop or something like that. They got your stuff up there too. So I'm like, oh, there he is.
He was here.
He was here. I was wondering when I was going to see his face today. There it is.
Exactly, man. And we just keeping it consistent. And I just want to say, thank you. For throwing me that opportunity at Jake's Billers, you know what I'm saying? Because through you, I was actually able to put some other artists on, and the relationship is built to what it is today. You know what I'm saying? Where we could sit down and have this interview.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's great, man. Thanks, man. And then I remember you was talking to me about a benefit concert coming up.
Right. So this summer, I'm looking forward to putting together a benefit concert for sickle cell anemia research.
Oh, wow. Now, you talking about 2015, summer 2015?
Yeah, summer 2015. A friend of mine named Daniel Black, shout out to my boy, man, rest in peace. He passed away at the age of 25 from sickle cell anemia. And he was an incredible musician. Absolutely incredible. He did speed metal stuff, and then he evolved into doing hip-hop and trip-hop stuff. And, he was one of the original members of this group called the Beatjackers. Shout out to my boy Loomis. Beatjackers are still doing their thing.
Where are they out of?
I think they're based out of L.A.
Okay, no doubt.
But he was one of the original members of Beatjackers, and they were... They had done an event with me over at Jake's.
Okay.
And he was just a really close friend of mine, and I was so sad when he passed.
He passed from?
Yeah, he died from the disease.
Absolutely.
He had been in and out of the hospital for years, just kind of battling it and dealing with it, but it never got him down. That was the thing that just made me so proud of him. Is just that even though this thing was like holding him back from time to time, it never kept him down.
Right.
Like he would be in pain and still go do a show.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You
know? Wow.
Aren't
you thankful to know people like that?
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, man. Like he was a real inspiration, and it really broke my heart when he passed.
Wow.
And I promised him at his funeral that I wouldn't give up because he never gave up. You know,
that's heavy, dude.
Even if all I do is an open mic, I still try to get out and do something. Even if it's just go sing some of my favorite songs at karaoke, I still try to go out and do something.
Wow.
You know, so with everything going on right now, like my biggest thing when I decided to come back and try to get back on the scene was to do something for him. So next summer, I've actually got some really cool people lined up to help me with this. We're going to get this benefit concert for my boy.
Yeah.
And to fight for his cause, man, because no young black artist should be taken out like that.
Absolutely.
You know?
I agree.
And it's just one of those diseases that not a lot of people are focusing on because it's a black disease. It's an African American disease, and you know, it's not as popular as breast cancer or AIDS or autism. Right. You know.
Well, forgive me because I have the Alzheimer's wristband on.
No,
I
but
have the breast cancer on, and I got the autism speak keychain on right now.
But don't get me wrong; those are all worthy causes. These are all things that we should be working towards eradicating.
But I hear you. I know exactly.
But
where you're coming from.
It's one of those things. It's one of those like silent killers. It takes out a lot of our young black people. Yeah. And
I personally feel that way about Alzheimer's, even though it may be a little more so than sickle cell, more like funded.
Yeah.
But I personally felt Alzheimer's was underfunded compared to the breast cancers and the ACL, ALS. Yeah. But the sickle cell anemia, because it targets a unique population of people. You know, it should be, you know, something. Yeah. So who is like the beneficiary of the benefit?
Well, here's what we're gonna do. When we get this concert going, 100% of the proceeds for this will go towards sickle cell anemia research.
Absolutely.
100%.
Wow.
We're gonna get in contact with the right foundations to make sure the money goes to the right spot.
I can help you with that, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Any little bit can help because once we get this thing going, it's gonna be big, and we're gonna try to do our best to not only make sure it's a great concert,
right,
and you know, and like a lot of fun for people, but I want to do something to honor my boy's memory.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, you know, make like a little video short.
Yeah. You know. And, yeah, shout out to Daniel Black's family, man. We love y'all, and we still thinking about you.
Absolutely, man. Much love to you guys. That's real, man. You know, speaking to, you know, our young brothers, you know, passing away and things like that, you know, what are your thoughts on Eric Garner? You know what I'm saying? You know,
man,
it's crazy. You know what? I'm looking at the internet, and I'm thinking I'm seeing the actual video, right? And I'm just looking at that, and then I see some more stuff, and then
here's the thing. It's so strange what we're starting to see now. It's this like advent of police brutality,
where the message is being sent loud
against young men, and like for the most part, young minority men. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we need cops. There are definitely people who deserve to be in jail.
Right.
And thank God they're there, because you don't want them out on the streets in your neighborhood.
Right.
But when we get these situations where the cops are coming up against somebody who's really not a threat.
Right. And just resorting to shooting, you know, immediately, you know, as first resort.
Jumping,
you know?
like, you know, either, you know, they're shooting them, or they're choking them out, or they're tasing them to death, or beating them to death.
Right.
Like, I don't know what it is, but there's something going on in our culture where our cops are losing it.
Yeah.
I mean, losing it on the job. Like, they're either stressed out They've got some type of post-traumatic stress. Yeah. Maybe some of these people aren't necessarily mentally fit to be police officers.
Exactly.
And there's not really enough being done to examine the mental welfare of the people that we're putting in charge of our safety.
Exactly.
Like
That's
these cats,
very well said.
These cats have, I mean, they're people, right?
Yes.
They have the same problems that everybody else has.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
I was going to say
if we don't put enough emphasis on making sure our cops are mentally up to the challenge of being
mentally
police,
stable,
and won't, jump the gun and like have a bad day and beat a woman half to death on the 10 freeway, or choke somebody out in a crowd full of people while people are videotaping you,
and because you're a cop, you just
Garner was choked out on tape. He died on tape. The people were filming his death. Like, he died right there in front of those people with that officer's arm around his neck.
Wow.
Like telling them, gasping, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And it boggles me, like, what is the mindset of the person who's supposed to be the authority figure?
Right.
If you're trying to subdue someone, if they're down on the ground, you've got 6 other officers. I don't know how many cops were in that video. There was a gang of them. Right. But there were enough cops there to hold him down, handcuff him, and then pull him back up.
Exactly.
They didn't have to spend 7 minutes on the ground trying to make him unconscious.
Wow.
They all got weapons. They all have stuns.
Yeah.
They all have mace.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of non-lethal ways to bring down a suspect rather than just choke him and tackle him under this, like, strange group mentality. Right. I don't even want to say group mentality. I want to say, like, mob mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some strange mob brotherhood weirdness going on with the cops.
They're being bullies.
Yeah. Well, not so much being bullies. It's just like, have you ever been in like a large group of dudes and like you're out doing something and somebody wants to do something stupid and you eggs the rest of everybody on, like, oh, come on, don't punk out, do what I'm doing. Yeah. That's kind of what it reminds me of, because the mentality is okay, we're all together and we all wear the same shield. We're all boys in blue, right? So we come up across somebody that we think might be a problem or one of us wants to take down. We all have to back the next guy up. Right. Otherwise, we're not doing our job.
Instead of coming over and being like, the lieutenant saying, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, man, let this guy go. There's a call around the corner. Run. Or you know what I mean?
And don't get me wrong. The police deal with stuff on a day-to-day basis that would turn your stomach.
Right. I understand.
It would turn your stomach. They go through it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, there's nothing that I don't think that there's adequate procedural securities put into place for our officers. Right. Like mental health screenings, counseling. Like, even if they haven't really been through anything that bad, I think cops should probably have to do some counseling once or twice a week.
You know what I think? And maybe people have talked about this, but, even just like in Los Angeles or even in Pasadena, where you go across the communities and each community has their own neighborhood association or their own neighborhood districts. So in Pasadena, from like Lake to Hill, Washington to Orange Grove, everything in that is bungalow heaven.
Right.
And let's say you get the captains, the directors, because those are real organizations, come together in the city, and the captain from each organization will serve as a panel or a commission that monitors the police. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that should be a way that neighborhood associations can also make
a lot of people have been talking about trying to get the officers to wear body cams.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation.
Here's the thing: the only thing that's going to happen if you put a camera on a cop is you're going to get a close-up view of one of these cops going crazy. Yeah. That's the only thing that's going to happen.
And you're not even going to see the cop wearing it.
You're just going to see you're going to see the cop's perspective of how they react in a situation.
Right.
Where they go after somebody.
Right.
And I don't think that's really what we need.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think cops should be held to the standard that they swore an oath to serve and protect. I think that they should be held to a very high standard, but at the same time, I think that just putting a camera on the police is just going to give people a view of society that I don't think they're really ready for.
Yeah. Well, see, I think some people tend to forget what, or just misinterpret what serve means.
Yeah.
Serve doesn't mean they're gonna come and sweep your driveway.
Yeah.
Serve means they're gonna come serve you some papers.
No, serve means is somebody comes and break into your house. If they get the call, they got to show up. That's what serve means.
Yeah, and that's what we would like it to mean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they're joking, thinking because it's a double standard. You know what I mean? And honestly, I just don't like the whole idea of immunity. You know what I mean? Like, a real leader gets down there on his hands and knees with his soldiers.
Right.
And I don't think that just because you're a police officer, you're exempt from just being held accountable.
Yeah, I can't understand how any of these grand juries couldn't indict the police officers who were clearly in the wrong.
And you know what? And because I saw that, I'm like, okay, so then why should we take your verdict as justified, or why should we accept that? You feel me?
No, I mean the people have clearly not accepted that thing. But the thing is that
but they talk to us as if we're supposed to. Let's go back to everyday life and.
Nothing gets done to change what's wrong unless the people do something about it.
Absolutely.
And now, don't get me wrong, protesting has served its purpose.
Yeah.
But protesting only goes so far. And right now, the only other side to protest is anger and violence, which is wrong.
Yeah.
Because it just destroys the community that you're trying to rebuild.
Right. Exactly. And check this out, man. This was my perspective on how we should react. This is a worthy solution, and it is, instead of marching in front. Listen.
Oh, go for it. Go. Excuse me.
Because I want you to throw the ball back.
Please.
Damn. Where are we?
We're talking about the correct response from the people in terms of injustice with the police.
Right, exactly. I forgot, but we'll come back to it if I remember. But it's got a little derailed right there.
It's all right. It's all right.
I lost it. But anyway, man, it's just bad.
Yeah, yeah. Until people can really find a resolution that comes from them and not just getting people thrown out or getting the cops locked up.
Right, exactly.
Locking away these police isn't going to solve the problem. What's going to solve the problem is changing the way the police think.
Yes.
Is changing the way the police think and changing the way that they view our young people.
Right.
Our young men, our young minority men, and themselves.
Right.
Like, we need to change the way that they approach the situations that they approach, because too many of us are going under because they overreact.
Right, exactly. And that's why, this is what I was going to say. That's why, instead of marching in protest, hands up, fists up, laying down in the middle of the street, causing gridlock, taking it out on the wrong people, people who feel the same way but still got to get to work.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of do that, man, let's organize and let's march in celebration of that young man's life. Not because it was a horrible situation, but because his situation is showing us how we ought to respond and react. Because we already know if we do it this way, they expect that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what we can do. We march and we celebrate that young man. You know what I'm saying? And we put him on that pedestal. You know what I mean? For the sake of the cause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we send the message right there. And then when they see that, they're actually celebrating his life. You know what I'm saying? They're not angry. They're not looting. They're not killing each other. They're not. You know what I'm saying? They actually came together and they found peace within that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I think the proper way, one of the proper ways to respond to that in a political sense is, if let's say a young man dies in your community for suspicious reasons at the hands of the police, we should be at the community organizing events and at the board meetings, like City Hall, and be like, look, we either need you guys to resign, or admit wrongdoing. We should be replacing these people.
Exactly, clearly.
As soon as something like this happens,
because you have proven unfit for your position.
Right. Until the people are willing to go into the offices where these people work and remove them from power.
Thank you.
nothing's really going to get done.
Exactly.
If you don't either remove the problem or correct the behavior, nothing gets done.
All right. So listen, man, we're gonna have to go somewhere else real quick.
Okay.
Because we're gonna talk about that.
I know we could. Yeah, we go on for for days.
I want to keep most of that off the record for right now. Because you know what I'm saying, we just gotta do what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying, and we gotta let things flow out. But we'll talk. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But you know, on another note, man, you know what I'm saying. We're talking about community and people coming together. How important is it for you to give back to the community?
Oh, it's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
But the way I like to give back to my community is to do it unseen.
Okay.
My faith dictates that in order for me to be charitable, I can't do it in a way that brings attention to myself.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I want to do something to give back, I'll do it anonymously. But in terms of my artistry, my biggest thing for my community is making the art available.
Yeah.
For the longest time, when the Late Nights page, which is still up on Reverb.com, all the music on that page was free.
Right.
That had like maybe 1 or 2 covers up there, but the rest of it was original content that I made available for stream and download for absolutely free. I haven't cut a record since 2002. I haven't sold any music since then.
Really?
Yeah, I don't sell my music. I gave it away.
Wow. You are the real definition of a local artist.
Yeah, I don't sell my music. I gave it away.
So I like to look at that as paying it forward.
Yeah, when I put out another record, I'll make it available for sale.
Yeah.
But it'll also be available for free.
Right.
And I'll make both of it known. Like, if you want to support us, you can buy a record or a T-shirt or stickers or whatever.
Right.
Or if you just want to listen to it, here's the link. I don't. Music is always going to end up in the hands of the people it needs to end up in, and you might as well make it easy.
Exactly. Yep.
I can still make money off of my art, but my art won't mean anything if I can't get it to the people who it's not readily available for.
Right. Exactly.
Like if some kid in Santa Monica hears about me from somebody else who is listening to my stuff, I want him to be able to listen to my stuff without If he's broke, he can download a song, maybe not the whole album, but he can get a couple of tracks.
Right, no doubt. And I've always given my music away too. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got, and honestly, I'll go. I haven't to this day. I probably haven't sold 10 records online, 5 records, and that's because it's mostly covers. And I've got mad downloads though. You know what I mean? Mad plays, stuff like that. But
the idea is to just to get it out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like being relevant is ethically, I think, more important than the financial gain aspect.
Right.
We all got to pay the bills. We all got to do our thing, but
that's what the business. That's what business.
That's what the business aspect of it is.
Yeah.
And where artistic merit and business meet, there's often a conflict. So.
Yes, absolutely.
So
it's like a tornado.
You have to find a good, delicate balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the challenge.
And what marks the balance is certainty of self.
Absolutely. Wow. Because now you're at the right level to be able to distinguish, discern, and to weigh balance. You know what I'm saying?
If you don't know who you are, who else will?
Right. Exactly. So exactly. Speaking of who you are, you know what I'm saying? Knowing who you are, man. Who or what inspires you as an artist when writing songs or
like music influences?
Yes. No. Well, what particularly inspires?
What inspires?
Your music? Yeah. I mean, where do you look for inspiration? Where do you get it from? I know you got your boy.
For a long time, I used to take inspiration from everyday life.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would write a song from the perspective of someone else.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that was a running theme for a lot of my writing. Like I would write from the perspective of someone that I created in my mind.
Yeah.
I would create a character and create a situation for them.
Yeah.
And then write about what it would feel like to be in that situation. Like when I wrote Gunslinger, Gunslinger is actually the soundtrack to a graphic novel that I'm producing. And the main character is the like doppelganger or mirror image of his enemy.
Right.
Like his enemy has taken everything away from him, and revenge is the only thing he's concerned with. And on the flip side to that, the gunslinger character only really operates in the mindset of doing their job. Like they get an assignment, they go do it, you know,
and that's how they operate.
And that's how they operate.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a metaphor for fighting against the system.
Yeah. Right.
That's what it is. A metaphor for fighting against the system after the system has done you great injustice.
Yeah.
And like my inspiration from that was just kind of creating a scenario that gave me the notes and lyrics that I needed.
Oh, wow.
Lately, what inspires me is real emotion, like personal emotion.
Yeah.
Like this is probably the first time I'm diving back into doing more personal music.
Yeah, absolutely.
That isn't as dark as it used to be. Like my first stuff when I was writing was dark.
Man,
it was dark and depressing.
Hey, but you know, I encourage that. It has to be, even if it's just your plight. You know, it's not just about relating to people. You're gonna relate to people just because you're making music,
right? Because
you're a human,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But tell your story. You know what I'm saying? When you're gone, you know what I mean? What they're gonna have to look back on your Beatles covers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or Larry McZeal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So right now, I'm really trying to get back onto like the lighter side of things.
Yeah.
And
it'll come.
I got a lot of new joy in my life because of my son, and
absolutely.
Just experiencing life in a new way.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of pushing my art out of the fog.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Like
slowly
working
the curtain back.
Yeah. Just working my way back into the light. You know?
Right. Exactly.
And that's what really inspires me, is like trying to find the horizon of deeper possibilities with music and in my personal life, and I'm trying to let that reflect in what I'm writing.
Right, absolutely, man. So tell me a few, because I'm sure you got a lot of influences, but you know, specifically, man, who were like some of your primary influences that led you to be the artist you are today?
Okay, first and foremost, the single greatest performer ever to live, and I know this will come up for debate.
Okay.
I know it'll come up for debate. Michael Jackson.
Okay, no doubt.
Was my biggest influence coming up. You want to talk about a work ethic?
Yeah.
Michael was it.
Rest in peace, Mike.
Rest in peace, Mike. Mike was it. He's got material that still hasn't been released that are just days and days worth of music.
Wow.
From the time he was in the Jackson 5 until he died, there are enough Michael Jackson songs to play in a row for 24 hours and not hear the same song.
Wow. Really?
Not hear the same song twice. Yeah. That's how much material there's out there of him.
Wow.
From Jackson 5 to the Jacksons to just Michael.
Yeah.
Like there's just volumes and volumes of stuff. And
crazy.
like watching him perform and like watching him tour and like.
Have you seen him perform live?
I've never seen him perform live. That was one thing that broke my heart about his passing, and I never got to see him do his thing. But yeah, he was one of my greatest influences as a performer.
Okay.
Musically, I started out listening to a lot of R&B, R. Kelly, Tony Braxton, Whitney Houston, Sade.
Yeah.
Like those are my big like Marvin Gaye.
Absolutely.
One of my biggest. Oh man, Marvin.
Yeah, Marvin.
But in terms of musicianship, my biggest influences were Hendrix.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain, and Steve, and as of like the last 4 or 5 years, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Right. Okay.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, hands down, one of the best blues guitarist players in the world. I'd even go as far to say he could outplay B.B. King.
Really?
I would go as far. I mean, they're just different styles, right. But like in
terms. What about your boy Miles, though?
Man, don't get me wrong, man. Right. Miles is dope, but man, listen to Texas Flood. That song, Texas Flood by Stevie Ray Vaughan, when they were in Montreal. Mm-hmm. There's a video of it up on YouTube, and he does something that I've never seen any other guitar player do. He unplugged his guitar while playing a solo, threw it behind his back, plugged it back in, and played it behind his back.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not like a slow lead. I'm talking maybe a 158-note solo.
Really? Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Stevie Ray Vaughan, man. He was bad. Died in a helicopter crash in the 90s, but still one of the best blues guitar players in the world.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so, yo, man, it's been good having you, you know what I'm saying? Do you got any positive, encouraging words for any aspiring artists out there?
Yeah, of course I do. I'd probably say this, man. Any dream worth having is a dream worth fighting for.
Amen. I agree with that.
Any dream worth having is a dream worth fighting for.
Absolutely. And, explain that a little bit, you know what I mean, just so they can...
Oh, actually, the quote comes from a comic book.
Uh-huh.
Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine #2, I think.
Uh-huh.
It's a scene where Magneto is standing over Xavier's grave, and that's what the headstone reads. And I know it's kind of geeky, but that phrase just stuck with me for a long time. Like,
wow.
And it's still true to this day, man. When you really think about it, like anything that you conceive in your mind as a positive thing is a thing worth going for.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt, man. It's been awesome, Larry, man. You got any shout-outs before we check out?
Oh, yeah. Shout-outs to 24th Element. Shout-out to I Will MC. Shout-out to AKA. Shout-out to Sketch Orchestra. Shout-out to my boy Andrew Soley and Irie Tide doing their thing up in Northern Cal. Yeah, check out Irie Tide, man. Those boys are dope, man. It's a great reggae group.
Okay, yeah, man.
Great reggae group. Irie Tide, man. Shout out to them, man. They're dope. And yeah, man. Shout out to Altadena, Pasadena, and all the fam, man.
Absolutely, man. All right, man. You heard it live, man. Larry McZeal, Wilson Block 100 Radio. We out.